Slime Rancher by Monami Park. What an impression this game makes. But is Slime Rancher worth your hard-earned $20? If you have ever needed a game to relax in with no pressure and a calming atmosphere, this is one of the greats. How great? Stay tuned. So you come home and your cat has left you with an empty apartment, didn't even leave a note, you're heartbroken, shattered even, but Slime Rancher is here for you. It cares. It will let you cry on its shoulder. It's so hard not to have a smile on your face while playing this game. Even for me, and my face has been frozen in disappointment since Superman 64 came out. These are slimes. They're super cute here. You probably know them from other video games, but trust me, they're much cuter here. These are some big ones that I bred. What do you do in this game, you may ask? You breed slimes, and you suck up chickens with a frickin' chicken sucking gun, because you can, just like my ex. And if you look here, here's some plorps. Plorps are your money. You collect the money, they come out of the slime's rear end. I don't know why they use it as currency, they just do. Here you can see a feeding station. I feed them. I put my food in there, I can adjust the speeds. Boom! Feeding made simple. Alright? Over here you see some plort stuff. Collects the plorts. I have to do less. I'll show you in action. Here's some right over here. Boom, hit the button, they get sucked up into the machine. Bob's your uncle. Gets some money for you, right? There are plots everywhere, just like in America. These are different types though. As you can see, I got a farm here to help feed my guys in a storage unit. The plots are actually entirely customizable. You can build what you want, wherever you want, on those allocated spaces, and upgrade things to make them more efficient. Here are some boom slimes I've bred with rad slimes, so radioactive and blast basically, and they're pretty dangerous, but I've combined them to make them larger and give multiple plorts. It's a lot of fun to combine. Over here you can see Bob. Bob likes chickens. Me too, man. You can trade with NPCs to get all kinds of items over at this station. What they give you is on the right. Not only can you upgrade your farm, you can upgrade yourself and your backpack. Over here's the upgrade station, and here you can actually upgrade your stamina to consume less, upgrade your backpack, and more. You are going to want to rack up those new bucks, because there's a lot of upgrades. Over here is the ranch. It acts as your hub. I have chicken on the door, because like Bob, I like chicken. You can manage your DLC. You can see the different packs here. There's the Z Rewards Club, which allows you to buy things with gold, purely cosmetic things to put around your ranch. Star Mail, this fleshes out the story, which there is some sprinkled in here, so if you want to know more, you're going to spend some time here. Lastly, you have Sleep Until Morning, which allows you to time travel forward. This changes, obviously, night into day, and at night, there are totally different slimes available than during the day in some areas. This is important to note. The plort market is what determines plort to new buck currency rates. It's over to the right of your ranch. Prices change daily, but if you sell a lot of a specific type, it drives prices down. It functions similar to the stock market, but with less manipulation to retail investors. No Fed pumping to prop up this economy. Sell too much of a specific plort at once, and prices can be down for days, just like your IQ after a Jersey Shore marathon. In the bottom left, you can see that I have my new bucks currency, and it just went up when I sold that. Below that is health, and below that is stamina. You're probably familiar with these. Here's one of the best features about the game, the Slimepedia. You can learn what to place on your farm, some of the resources you've encountered, and the slimes. And man, are the slimes cute. You can learn so much about them here, like their favorite foods, for example. Let's talk about the gameplay loop. The loop itself is pretty simple, but addictive. You might be somewhat familiar with it if you've played games with a similar structure, like Stardew Valley, Harvest Moon. It really differentiates itself from the other farm simulators similar to it by its presentation and its execution. A typical day may involve some routine things, such as feeding your slimes, collecting and selling plorts, upgrading and expanding yourself or your land, but it can also be extremely varied by venturing out into some of the 9 wilderness areas to capture new slimes, collect treasures, or explore new areas of the map you couldn't even get close to previously. It almost has a Zelda-like feel to the map exploration, with some places requiring keys to unlock. You get those keys by feeding these large slimes called Gordo slimes, whatever their favorite food type is, and then they explode. It's actually pretty fun to watch. I really wanted to show you the meat and potatoes of the gameplay, because you will be spending a specific and significant portion of the game even just on your farm. I mean, look at how much money I get here. A lot of new bucks to spend and upgrade, and it can be really fun to save up to some things you wanted and just feel like you're progressing, and the game gives you that constantly. There's tons of upgrades to unlock, even more once you unlock the lab, which is an area I have not accessed on this playthrough, which allows you to create science upgrades using slime resources, so you can get drones and other things to actually automate a lot of these processes. If you're familiar with Stardew Valley, for example, you know sprinklers and other items can allow you to take care of a lot of the routine things without you having to even be present. And this game likes to continue that kind of idea, so that if you really just want to explore, once you have the lab and unlock it, it becomes much easier to do so. Now let's talk more about that graphical presentation and explore a little bit of the map. This is actually the very first area you can explore outside of your ranch. Outside, slimes will be roaming in their natural habitats, and you can scavenge for food and items. The glowing H you see here are scattered around the map. They're left by the previous ranch owner, Hobson Twilgers. These will contain bits of story that you want to collect and really flesh everything out. The game does a great job at making you feel like you are a visitor on another planet. You're just a guest in these cute slime creatures' lives, and as they bounce around in the environment, as they go about their existence, you really feel like you're just a trespasser in a very cute world, and it does a great job at transporting you to that. While exploring the map, there are many hidden areas that you have to either get past creatures that frankly want you dead, like these slimes, or get keys to progress. And you get those keys, as mentioned earlier, by feeding these giant Gordo slimes. I'm going to show you what's just behind the very first door, because there's plenty of these doors. I just want to show you a little bit more of the map. This is one of my favorite areas. There's the crystals, the scenery. It's just a nice area. It feels peaceful to me. It's kind of like mines, kind of caves. It feels organic, and all these areas are massively different. And here you can see a slime avalanche. I don't even know what was going on at that point. That's the cool part about living in this world, is the slimes exist without you. Now let's talk soundtrack. Just listen to this music. I could literally pay for a soundtrack for this game. That's how good the music is in it. And I highly encourage it. Even if it was just for that, it would be worth its price. The graphics are either going to be something you really enjoy or something you don't, just depending on your taste towards a more cartoony, friendly kind of vibe. I personally love this sort of thing. It just helps fill that warm, fuzzy sensation the game tries to give you during its entire playthrough. Before we dive into the final review and the summary, I'd like to just share a couple cool things I learned about the game while I was researching it and playing it. The creator of the game actually said the inspiration for this in a Reddit thread was a bug in the Elder Scrolls Oblivion that actually made it so you could shoot hundreds of melons out of a bow and all the townspeople would fall all over the melons. And he thought it was so amusing that he decided to base a game off of it. I couldn't find any photos of it, but supposedly there was a meteor slime that they planned on having in the game, but scrapped it. If it ever does come out, I think it could be a hint at some kind of space-themed ranch, which would be very cool. So to summarize, the graphics, I'd rate them at an 8 out of 10. This may be different depending on your preference, but there's no denying that they're cutesy. For anyone who's in it for the music, this game has a killer soundtrack. All of it's very peaceful, and you're bound to find at least a couple tracks that you would probably just go to that area and stand around looking at things just to listen to. And that's pretty high praise coming from me. So I'd give the soundtrack a 9.5 out of 10. The gameplay loop, while simple, is actually really addictive. It keeps me coming back to play it more and more, and is actually one of the most well implemented out of any of the farming simulators I've played. So I'd give the gameplay itself an 8 out of 10. The story, while it's not a major component, is there in a piecemeal way, and it's good. Is it worth your $20? Yes, it is. What would I rate it? 9 exploding slimes out of 10. Subscribe! Do it now! Do it now! I need it! I need it!
Are you winning, son?
Not now, Dad. I'm trying to become a professional YouTuber.